What's going on, guys? My name is Wade with TechDaily, and in this video, we are checking out the final boss of robot vacuums. This is the Dreame X40 Ultra, and saying that it's just a combination robot vacuum and mop really is an understatement, because the things this guy is capable of puts it miles ahead of any other robot vacuum or mop that's currently on the market. Now, Dreame was kind enough to send me the X40 Ultra to clean my house the last few weeks and sponsored this video. And you guys know that I've actually tried quite a few other robot vacuums over the years, and I know generally what they're good at and what they're not good at. But the X40 Ultra truly has no faults or shortcomings whatsoever. Every aspect of this robot vacuum is more advanced than anything else out there. From its auto-extending side brush and mop heads, to the obstacle avoidance and home mapping capabilities, and even its automation, switching from wet to dry, emptying itself, cleaning itself. I would argue that it might actually be more thorough than a real-life housekeeper. With all its upsides, the only drawback to the X40 Ultra really is just its price point. I'll say that up front. It's a higher end, higher priced robot vacuum for sure, but what you wind up paying for is truly the current best robot vacuum and mop combination on the market right now. Fortunately, Dreame is having one heck of a holiday sales promotion on this and the rest of their lineup of products. From now through December 2nd, you can save $500 on the X40 Ultra and an additional 5% through the end of the year if you use a special discount code. And I'll have that listed and linked down below in the video description. So I want to start with the basics here first. The Dreame X40 Ultra is made up of its base station and the very familiar circular little robot itself. The base station houses a lot of stuff that you'll want to set up right away. There's two large containers inside, one for your clean water and one that will fill up with dirty water as the mop pads get cleaned out. More on that in a moment. And inside this front compartment, you'll see the dust and debris bag for the vacuum and one more smaller container that you can fill with your favorite floor cleaning solution. Dreame sends you a bottle, which is nice, but it's not proprietary. So if you like something specific or your floors need something, you can use whatever cleaner you want. The robot vacuum itself obviously looks very familiar to Dreame's other ones, but there's a couple standout physical features that make the X40 Ultra unique. Under the hood, you'll find another small bin for dust and debris that will get emptied out automatically into the base station, but this has a filter on it too that you'll want to change out regularly. The X40 Ultra moves on these rather large rubber wheels that have a ton of travel and grip, and for as long as I've used it, it hasn't gotten stuck on anything at all. There's a rotating brush head on the side for sweeping up larger debris. The main rotating brush underneath that I have here is actually the upgraded tri-cut brush you can buy separately. This literally slices up human and pet hair as it sucks it up, so it doesn't get tangled. And you can see there literally isn't any hair in this thing after multiple weeks of use. And then there's these two connection points here that are for the magnetically attached rotating mop heads. When they're not in use, the mop heads tend to live inside the base station, and when it's time to mop up your floor, they'll automatically be picked back up at the X40 Ultra, and away it goes. Now, the first thing you'll want to do in setting up the X40 Ultra is download the app, of course, and run a mapping pass so the vacuum can get familiar with the rooms, the furniture, and other objects and areas in your home. This thing did a near perfect map in just one pass, and I was surprised to see it even identified specific objects like shoes and cables, and it knew what was a bathroom and what was the kitchen and what was the hallway. Everything you see here was auto-populated. I literally changed nothing. You could, of course, customize this map and add no-go zones, change the room names, add or remove certain things, but this was truly the best initial auto mapping that I've ever seen. And it's thanks to some fancy laser sensors, a bright LED light, and an actual camera that you can use that creates 360-degree awareness for not just mapping and object avoidance, but for cleaning too. It can see and detect crumbs, dirt, stains, and other things that need to be cleaned, and it'll slow down, do a couple passes, and make sure the area it detects is taken care of. And while all the fancy sensors and AI obstacle avoidance technology is great, what the X40 Ultra does best is actually clean your home. And there are a couple very unique things about this robot vacuum and mop that allow it to do so. First, the vacuum has what Dreame calls Vormax suction, which on its highest setting can reach up to 12,000 pascals of suction power and airflow, which beats out pretty much everything else on the market. Not only does it do a great job getting the little stuff, but it's powerful enough to suck up even larger crumbs and debris in one pass, and it does so in a controlled way, where all the crumbs don't go flying everywhere. The X40 Ultra, by default, cruises in a very tight pattern back and forth, and you can see that mapped out in real time in the app, and afterwards when its cleaning tasks are done. And you can see just how tight and thorough of a path it makes with the lines in my carpet here. It's very precise and very obvious. But vacuuming in a big open space like this is arguably pretty easy. What's harder is getting into all the corners of different rooms and around the furniture or up against the angled walls. And that's where the X40 Ultra's side reach and mop extend features come into play. The X40 Ultra's spinning side brush will automatically extend out to reach corners and other hard to reach spaces and get a tighter turn along furniture. In mopping mode, it does the exact same thing. Mop Extend literally swings out the spinning mop head when the X40 Ultra is up against your baseboards or the corner of your kitchen, for example, and it gets right up against the edge, perfectly tackling even the tightest of corners. This was one of my biggest issues with previous robot vacuums. I mean, it was literally like trying to put a round peg in a square hole. But the X40 Ultra solves that problem without having to redesign or rethink the whole entire robot vacuum. The X40 Ultra automatically does a lot of other things too. It can, of course, detect carpet, tile, wood floors, and other varying floor types in your home and clean those specific areas a certain way. Obviously, some spots may need to be mopped, others vacuumed, and so the X40 Ultra will either drop its mop pads and head on out on a vacuum-only journey, or it can keep the mop pads installed and just lift them up more than 10 millimeters off the ground to prevent any cross-contamination. No one wants dirty mop pads dragging across the carpet. When the X40 Ultra returns to the base station, it does even more auto cleaning. It'll empty out the in-vacuum dust bin, like I mentioned, and it does so relatively quietly. You'll still hear it, but some other base stations I've tried have sounded like an airplane taking off when emptying their vacuum bins. And for the mop pads, the X40 Ultra will self-clean them with hot water and pretty rigorous rotation and scrubbing to actually get them clean. And the base station dries them too, so they don't get all funky or moldy. Now, all this technology is great, but it's only good for as long as it lasts without needing a charge. And fortunately, Dreame crammed in one of the largest batteries of any robot vacuum, 6,400 milliamp hours, which yields up to 198 minutes of cleaning on low power mode within about 3,300 square feet of space. For me, I have about 2,100 square feet of space, and I regularly vacuum and mop on some of the higher power settings. And over the course of about 2 hours on a single charge, it's completely done with everything without needing to go back to the base. The thing about the Dreame X40 Ultra, and I truly mean this, is that any criticisms I would normally have with a robot vacuum and mop, I simply just don't have with this one. It's the best at obstacle avoidance that I've ever tried. It hasn't gotten stuck, it hasn't sucked up my phone chargers, it doesn't push my shoes around. That's a big one for me, but beyond that, its ability to go above and beyond with its cleaning, namely actually clean all the areas of a given space, including the corners and edges, including the tight spots, including around furniture. That's what makes this the best robot vacuum and mop currently on the market. It actually cleans everything, and it cleans it all really well. If you maybe consider how much money and time you might otherwise spend on certain aspects of your cleaning routine, I think the X40 Ultra is a pretty solid investment, but I do realize it's a pretty penny to pay for this thing. It is, however, like I said, the best on the market right now, in my opinion. So perhaps that's the deciding factor in forking over all that money for it, potentially. So there you go. That's the Dreame X40 Ultra. it is truly the final boss of the robot vacuums. But what do you guys think? Would you want this roaming around your home? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, of course. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video though. Be sure to follow TechDaily on Twitter and subscribe to the TechDaily YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys later.